Today we'll be walking you through a step-by-step process on how you can create a personal finance budget for yourself in the year of 2023. Along the way, we'll be explaining to you some concepts, some strategies and tips and my own personal experience on how you can make that budget work for you. In the first step, to understand your current financial situation, for some people they find it really difficult to do so because they don't really want to find out how bad a state of financial they are in. But trust me, this step is extremely necessary and it's always better that you find out what's wrong with your financials rather than burying your head in the sand and not knowing what went wrong. So let's not waste time and we'll go into the studio to show you a step-by-step guide on how you can do it. Let's go. So the first thing that you want to do is to track your cash flow, and that means tracking in how much is your income and how much are you spending every month. To do that, you will need to create a table either in an Excel sheet or a notebook, whichever that you feel comfortable, but in this case here, we'll show it to you via an Excel sheet. So the first thing, you want to create a table for your income, and here you want to list down all your sources of income and how much do you get every month. Now for most people, there will definitely be a main income, which is your full-time employment, and for some of you, there could be some side hustles as well. So if you have one side hustle, just list down one of it. If you have two side hustles, just list down another one there and write down how much do you get every month. For the main income, one thing you want to take note is you do not want to take in your gross income amount because that amount doesn't effectively reach your bank account. What you want is the net income that you're getting. That means it has already minus off the EPF, PCB, SOXO and so on and so forth, because that's effectively how much you really got every month. In this case here, we are looking at 4,500 for the main income and 500 ringgit a month for one of the side hustles. So end of the day, we get 5,000 ringgit as income, and that's the amount that you can spend every month. The next thing we'll look at here is your expenses. What you can do is to create a table with 3 columns, which are expenses, items and amount. For me personally, I like to categorize all the items, and the categories will be loan, which are things that you have to pay, especially bank loans, right? And these will be items such as car loan, PT/PTN and credit card. Then the next category will be necessity, where it is things that you have to spend on every month in order to survive, such as your rental, your utility, your parking, your petrol, insurance, groceries, stuff like that. Things that are basic that you have to spend on in order to survive. Then the next category is for lifestyle. When it comes to lifestyle expenses, it will be things that are good to have, such as eating out, gym membership, maybe partying, maybe subscriptions with Netflix, Spotify and so on. Things that are not necessary, but it's part of a good to have in your lifestyle. Once you list down all these categories and items, you want to key in all the amounts that you're spending on it on a regular basis. For example, in this case, we are saying that the car loan is 650 ringgit, PT/PTN, this person need to pay 250, and credit card regularly pays about 300 ringgit, and rental, utilities, stuff like that. So after keying in all this, you will get the total amount of expenses that you are spending on a monthly basis. Moving on is the next table, regular investments. There are many of you here actually lock in a certain commitment for some sort of a saving plan or maybe mutual funds where you have already set an auto deduction on a monthly basis, so it goes out from your account every month. I don't like to lump it with expenses because the truth is these are not expenses, these are investment. So I like to create a separate table for that. In this case here, I will create one table that says regular investment or saving with the amount, and I'll write down the kind of things that I'm saving into, such as a mutual fund or maybe a saving plan. After this, what you want to do is to calculate your monthly cash flow from here. Calculating your monthly cash flow is very easy. All you need to do is just write down your cash in and cash out. In this case here, the cash in is 5,000 ringgit, which is derived from the income table here. And the cash out is 4,200 ringgit, which is derived from the expenses. Now here, we get a picture of the monthly cash flow. In this case, it will be 800 ringgit. Now for some people here, it could be a different number, it could be a negative number or whatnot, but it's okay. Don't panic. Just go along with the process first, because what you want to do is find out your current financial situation. For me personally, after I get the cash flow, I will minus it off with those regular investment. In this case here, we have already set aside around 500 ringgit. So after minusing this off, we get a free cash flow of 300 ringgit every month. Free cash flow is what really matters, because this is essentially the leftover money money that you have that you can use it to allocate to more expenses or even saving it up for the future. By now, you would have already seen a certain pattern in your spending. And so in the next step, moving on, what you want to do is to analyze your financial behavior so far. Just by looking at your income and expenses, I believe you can derive a certain pattern, knowing where you have spent more or where you have spent less or where you can cut down and so on. Maybe for some of you, it could be spending too much on lifestyle, like going out for entertainment with friends, going for parties and so on. For some of you, it could be just eating out itself spends too much of your money. And for some of you, it could be you have a lot of subscription with Netflix, Spotify and whatever not, right? The main goal here in the step 2 is really just to analyze, to look at your current spending pattern and see what are certain behaviors that are getting you into certain financial situation. Now that you have identified what's your current spending behavior, the next step here is to actually decide on a goal. What do you want to achieve with this budget in 2023? For some of you, it could be that you are actually in debt and you have a negative cash flow every month and you want to get out of that situation. For some of you, it could be just you want to increase the percentage of savings that you have. So it will be different for everyone. It depends on what stage of life are you in and what's your current financial situation. However, whichever stage that you are in right now and whatever goals that you have, one thing everyone have in common is to make sure that your cash flow is positive. So if you're in the negative zone for cash flow, you really need to start working on this. The first thing that I'll look at is the good to have list to see what kind of things can I reduce from my expenses. Looking at eating out here, spending about 1,000 ringgit every month, that is probably quite a lot of money. So I'll try to figure out ways that I can reduce this amount. Maybe cooking from home and bringing lunch to the office, or reduce my going out with friends. Then when I look at the gym membership, spending about 200 ringgit every month, I will start asking myself, is there anywhere that I can go for a cheaper gym, or is there any alternatives that I can just remove the gym membership totally? For some of you, it could be subscription or maybe your mobile packages, and trust me, reviewing your mobile packages and your subscription could save you a huge amount of money. Once you're done with the lifestyle, the next list to work on is the necessity list. Now this list will be a lot harder for you to work on because you've already categorized it as necessity, which means that you believe that these are the things that you kinda can't live without. But as you're going through this, I want you to ask yourself 3 questions. Question number 1, can I live safely and with dignity without buying these things every month? Question number 2, if I lose my job, will I keep spending this way? Question number 3, can I live comfortably without spending on this for the next 6 months? The point of these 3 questions is to help you find out how important it really is on these spendings. For example, rental, utility, parking. Maybe you don't need to live in such a nice place. You can actually move to a place that is cheaper. And maybe in terms of utility, you can think about certain subscriptions that you do not need once again, or parking, maybe park further away. Now, again, I want to stress this. It is not easy to reduce your necessity because it already comes with a lot of mindset that's built in that you kind of need this. So it really requires you to have a mindset shift to reduce your necessities. If you don't need it, you really don't need it, maybe you should really let go of it.
Let it go, let it go.
I guess that's the Marie Kondo concept, right? After running through this whole list, if you find yourself being able to turn your cash flow from negative to positive, congratulations. However, I do have to acknowledge that for some of you, no matter how much you try to run it through, your cash flow could be still in the negative zone. Now, if that is the case for you, unfortunately, I have to say there's only that much you can do to reduce your expenses. The only way forward is actually to increase your income. Perhaps the best option is actually to pick up a part-time job. Now, if you're already in the cash flow positive zone, now is the time that you need to think about your goals. What do you really want to do with this extra money? Do you want to send your children to university? Do you want to invest more? Do you want to buy a house? So it is very important that you want to know your financial goal, what you want to achieve at the end of the day, so you can pick the right assets that suit those goals. Let me give you an example. Maybe currently you are 40 years old and you want to retire by 50. In that case, you have only 10 years left to achieve that goal. You shouldn't be investing your money into high-risk investment. In fact, you need to slowly shift your investment towards income-based investment to reduce the risk from your investments. Alright, now that you already know what's your current financial situation, you have analyzed your budget, and you have set a goal, we have come to the next step, which is to plan out a new budget for 2023. Predetermine how much you are gonna spend on your loans, your necessities, and your lifestyle here, and stick to the plan. For example, maybe after a long consideration, you have decided that you want to reduce some of your necessity expenses, such as rental. Maybe you decide to move out to somewhere cheaper where the rental is only 600 ringgit. Then maybe the next thing is to reduce your lifestyle expenses, such as eating out, by reducing it to about 500 ringgit. So whatever it is, depending on your current situation, draft out a plan on what is the ideal kind of spending pattern you want to have in 2023. However, I want you to take note of this, because when it comes to this stage, many people feel very disappointed because when they plan out their ideal budget, they feel that it's too far away. It is something that they can't achieve. I have to tell you that this is something that everyone experiences, I myself included. So what you want to do is to have that ideal budget, but also have a transitional budget. Even better if that transitional budget is a month-to-month basis. So it really depends on individually where are you currently at. And again, there's no one-size-fits-all advice. It really comes down to yourself. That's all about it in our video, a step-by-step guide on how you can plan out a budget for 2023. For those of you who are interested in downloading this Excel template sheet, you can go down to the description below and click the link there and use it for yourself. It's free. Lastly, if you'd like to watch more of this kind of video where it's step-by-step guide on how you can do something, do tell us in the comment section below.